32 with 3:05 to go. Bearcats have all 3 timeouts. There's a snap, handoff to Rose off the right side. He spins up near the 40, but he stopped up there and only 2 yards on the carry. Not a lot. Not a lot of room here to run up the middle. These 2 defenses playing well against the run this afternoon. Both of them have been susceptible to the pass early on, which is odd because these are the 2 opposite things these 2 teams have been able to do all year, has been able to run the football, especially for Marion. That's where their bread is buttered. And for the Cats, they're a little bit more balanced. So passing really isn't hurting them as much as Lathrop dropping back, looking over the middle. Carroll at the 50. He's not got no man to beat. He's got one guy to beat, that is. He cuts back, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Big number 10.
All he had to do was beat Zachary McNeil, and McNeil took a bad angle, and that was it.
And I mentioned the whole game, Dylan, about those corners. That's exactly what you needed to do, is be able to come get that up there.
Close to 70 yards on the touchdown pass from Lathrop to Carroll. Carroll just caught it on the little slant route, and the Cats up 12-0 with the extra point looming.
This is a big play here. I was expecting a twofer to see what could happen there, but great job, absolutely great job by Lane Carroll to come across the middle, recognize where he was at on the field.
Carroll on for the extra point. This one up and through. 13-0 Cats. No problem. Carroll says, I'll take care of the extra point. Boots it through. 13-zip Bearcats, 2:26 to go.
He did it all but throw it there.
They let Jamie Lathrop turn one loose there.
And I've been talking about it. Well, even the linebackers are starting to play up and blitz to play the run. So in that situation, the middle of the field's left wide open. The slant by Lane Carroll leaves the field wide open for him. The corners have to chase down Lane Carroll, and he's a pretty quick kid to catch. 41-second drive, 58 yards, and it ends with 7 points as the Cats boot the extra point through. Lane Carroll on the touchdown reception, close to 60 yards there, deep down the field, and just able to break it off. Talk about helping the yards after catch rating, as he probably caught that after like 12 yards and ran the rest of the way, so close to 50 yards after the catch. So, but now you gave Marion a lot of time on the board.
And that was the second touchdown catch of the afternoon for Lane Carroll. Cats have scored 13 points here in the second quarter, as that one came with 2:26 to go until half. So a big 2 minutes here for Marion. They have 2 timeouts left as the kickoff is getting set to commence. Brought to you by State Line Motors on Euclid Avenue in Bristol. A little short one as it hits at the 25. It's returnable out to the 30, and he's brought down there. Good coverage. They're trying to keep away from the big return, and that's pretty smart here with just under 3 minutes, I think.
And with them being at the 30-yard line, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, a big return such at the 40, the 50, even in the plus territory there. So just a great job just being able to get that pooch kick right where it needed to be.
Yeah, it was right up. We've seen them go to that several times this year, but I believe right there was one of the more unquestionable times to do it. Up by 13, and you don't want Ford to get loose down the sideline. And we talked about it with Coach Sidner last week during sports chat about how special teams can change the game, and right there is a really good way to keep it from not happening defensively. Marion with the ball at the 26-yard line, or 30-yard line, that is dropping back a little center screen. It's incomplete. Tried to whip it right across the middle, and the Cats were all over it. Intended for Ty Blevins, but they were right there. The Cats were. All over that one was Thomas Barlow, it looked like.
I don't understand why you'd throw the ball back under center. It just seems like that's the most populated area on the field when you had a screen wide open on the outside.
Yeah, I could imagine it if you were getting something off the run, some stuff to believe in, but when you're running screen, the only pass play you're running, you're kind of selling yourself short. 2:15 on the clock, ball's back at the 30. There's a snap. This is Ford off the left side, and he's still running. Close to 8 yards on the carry. Got it up past the 35, near the 40.
And, I think a lot of that falls on them not having to throw the ball a lot. This Marion team doesn't have to throw, so the wide receivers don't get the in-game reps they need to be able to efficiently catch the ball as often as they have to.
Ball's at the 38. They got to get it to the 41. It's 3rd down and 3. 13-0 Bearcats leading at 1:47 to go until half. 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Handoff fake, and this time it's wide up the middle, and Bobby Medley coming out of the secondary to make the tackle, but he gets the first by maybe a half a yard. Good coverage there as Bobby Medley closed in from the secondary, but Not in time for the first down for the Hurricanes. 1:34 on the clock as they reset the chains.
And something to think about, Dylan. That's only the second third down conversion of the night for Marion. They're 2 for 7 tonight.
43-yard line is where the Marion Hurricanes are on their own 43. One wide receiver out wide to the left. They're going to run straight out to the right. And Matthew Dean got him in the backfield. A sack for the Cats.
He is. Matthew Dean. It's Halloween. He's getting pretty scary back there, Dylan.
All the way back to the 34-yard line. Matthew Dean comes through. Coach Carroll gets a timeout with 1:18 to go until half. That's the second timeout for the Hurricanes as Matthew Dean came in from that linebacker position on the right side, blindsided him, and it's a 9-yard loss for Marion, and a big part of this ball game is that'll bring up second down and 19.
Something to think about. You hold them here, you get the ball at the half, punch one in, you're looking at a pretty good game for your Bearcats here on senior night.
Yeah, and it's a very energized stadium here tonight.
Something else to think about. You know how I mentioned on senior night, everyone just seems so locked in. I don't think I've seen this defensive front play this well all year long, Dylan.
Yeah, the defensive front's playing like men up there tonight against, a great running back. Kelby Ford over 1,200 rushing yards this year.
If not one of the better running backs that they've played all year so far.
If not the best, yeah, like you said. So
Lester is pretty good.
Yeah, Lester's good from Graham, but yeah, they've got a big game next week. Marion's got to go to Graham next week.
They got a tough draw going to the playoffs, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a tough game to end your season on, as we've seen how good Graham is as well. And Cats, this isn't something that it's not like anybody's been able to run against Marion. Nobody has. Richlands only had 62 yards rushing 2 weeks ago, and one of those plays was a 50-yard run in the second half. So they really stopped the run. As now it's a big second down and 19. 1 minute, 18 seconds to go until half. Marion trailing 13-0. Toss out to the left side to Ford, trying to get the edge. He's going to cut back, and he spins past the tackle, gets past the original line of scrimmage. Good gain.
Just keep it clean and get to the locker room.
Got it up to the 45-yard line.
Don't give them a chance, Dylan. That's all you got to say. Don't give them a chance.
12-yard gain.
Yep, lock them up here on third down, put it at fourth down, make them give you the ball, and just get to the locker room.
Clock's at 52 seconds and rolling. Third down and 8. Ball sitting at the 45. They got to get it across the 50 to the 47. There's the snap. Wyatt dropping back, looking downfield into double coverage, and it's incomplete. Tried to initiate the contact as it was intended for McNeil, and some Marion fans not happy about it. But
well, if you want to call something, McNeil was actually the one who pushed off in the first place to get that situation.
Yeah, he tried to initiate the contact. Now the punt team's coming out, and the fans loving it over here on the Virginia High sideline. Is one of the best first halves we've seen this year out of the Cats. 37 seconds until half. Marion forced a punt. They only had one timeout left, and they're not willing to go for it here from their own, even though they are near the 50. They're at the 45-yard line. They don't want to give the Cats a position. There's a snap. They're going to punt it away. This one's a good low punt. Out to the 24. Davidson returnable up past the 30 to the 35. He goes out of bounds at the 35 with 28.8 seconds on the clock. Cats have all 3 timeouts. What do you think? Don't risk it?
With the way the corners are playing, why wouldn't you make a couple of deep passes and see what you can come up with? I mean, if you turn it over inside the 30, what's the big deal? They have one timeout. They can't do it. They can't pass the football. Why not give it a shot?
Coach Ambergy discussing over there with Coach Chris. There is a player down over on the sideline as we're taking a quick knee, but he's up on his own over there. It looks like Tybal Evans, the senior, so that's something to keep an eye on. Hopefully he's all right.
Big linebacker for him, though, too. That's a big loss.
Hopefully he's all right. Looks like he's trying to stretch it out over there on the sideline as the Cats have a little bit of extra time to talk about it. Coach Ambergy and Coach Christ over there kind of huddling up. They're talking amongst themselves about what to do here. So Coach Christ,
you got your big receivers over here on one side. See what they run here.
Trying to dial something up here. 1st and 10 Cats from the 36-yard line. 28 seconds until half. Cats leading 13-0. This is Rose off to the left side.
Face mask. Ooh.
Kind of a high tackle there as Owen Hall tried to wrap him up. Gain of 4 as Coach Chris looks like he's going to be happy with running this one down. 12 seconds on the clock, and Coach Ambergy's putting up the hands as we're going to take this one into half. The Cats get it out to the 40-yard line, but that's where they're going to leave it. Not going to risk getting in any trouble before half, and the Bearcats lead it 13-0 as we head into half from Gene Malcolm Stadium. Big first half of football. We'll be back to wrap up the first half, get ready for the second half. Also, we're going to look around the district, some of the games going on, some interesting matchups going on this week and around the country, and also college football. We'll talk about that during our halftime show. But till then, we've got a quick interview we did with Torian Bazell and Austin Davidson back at last week's Sports Chat. So we will air that here at half, and we'll be right back for the live part of the show. But here's Torian Bazell and Austin Davidson and our interview with them at Bearcat Sports Chat. 13-0, Cats lead it at the half over the Marion Scarlet Hurricanes, who are undefeated on the season. So make sure you stay tuned. But here is the interview from earlier this week. Welcome back to Bearcat Sports Chat. Had a good talk there with Coach Sidner. Now we've got junior cornerback and wide receiver Torian Bazell. Let's give him a round of applause for joining us here tonight at Bearcat Sports Chat. So, Torian, you've been a mainstay at quarterback in this defense. How do you take the responsibility of covering a wide receiver one-on-one play after play in this system?
Well, it all depends on what really coverage we're in, but it's what Coach Sidnor said. It's pretty much about effort. Knowing that, like, last year I got burned a lot, and I've changed from that, and he made me a better cornerback by telling me that, knowing that it's like comparing it to basketball, it's just like playing defense in basketball.
So just always, that's one of the more interesting things about, let me get that there, I had a little bit of a feedback. It's one of the interesting things about that is every play you're one-on-one, really, and it's spotlighted, almost like baseball with a pitcher versus a batter. You're out there on the edge. A ball's lobbed up deep at you versus him if the safety's not over the top. So a lot of pressure there. What was the growing experience like at that position with the kind of like some growing pains and, the pressure involved?
Yeah, I remember freshman year that was bad stuff. Like doing one-on-ones and practice and stuff, that would be bad stuff. And then last year it got better, and then this year I feel like I've gotten a whole lot better from freshman year doing that.
Yeah, that was definitely – it's got to be a test each week with these guys that you have to guard. Bobby Medley, Lane Carroll. Can't be very fun each week, but it definitely helps you get prepared, that's for sure.
So 2 interceptions on the season. Is there anything more exhilarating than coming to the sidelines with the ball for your offense?
That's probably the best thing that you can do, I feel like. Because whenever you come in and you just get a pick and you bring it back to the sideline, knowing that your offense can go down and score effectively, then it makes you feel pretty good.
And, last week we talked about putting some sort of turnover momentum thing, like the turnover chain, or how Tennessee had the trash can. No jokes, please. But what would you want on the sideline? I mean, you got 2 picks. You'd have it twice already.
Probably a chain like Miami.
Yeah, there you go. Not a trash can. So, speaking of Tennessee, real quick, I'm going to take a break here from Torian. There is an awful lot of orange. I feel like I'm hosting the Butch Jones hotline here this afternoon. There's so many Tennessee fans in the house.
This is a first, and need I say, Coach Christ, I greatly appreciate it for finally doing me right.
Yeah, he got 2 Vol football players. Football players
and
that
we
like
got a
the
volleyball.
Vols. Yeah, and a Vol volleyball player.
This is a win.
Could you believe it? Up till this week, we didn't have one Tennessee fan. Volleyball, football, anything. Can you believe that? Even cross country don't even pull for the Vols. That's how bad it's gotten. But tonight, you guys are. Mark's getting a little bit of momentum going. I hope next week we get a.
Well, Butch Jones doesn't. Yeah, so that's great. Yeah.
So we saw in film. We've watched quite a bit of film this week. Marion has a quarterback that can extend plays. Puts a lot of pressure on the secondary to cover for longer. How prepared are you, seeing that you play every day against your own quarterback, Jamie Lathrop, who can extend as well? So how much preparation goes into that, and is it any concern as much as scrambling quarterbacks?
It doesn't really bother me that much, knowing that inside and outside outside linebackers that they can stop that no matter what. So whenever we have 2 good corners and a safety over top, it doesn't really affect me that much.
Torian, a junior here, what's your favorite Bearcat moment so far of your career? So you play a lot of different sports too. You don't have to just do football, but.
No, this is a football one. Favorite moment. It was at team camp this year. and we were playing against, I want to say Dinwiddie, I say. And I remember